Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Numbers with Nora. This is a math tutoring channel that helps you with all your math needs and wants. For this video, we're going to continue doing statistics, chapter 1. We're going to be doing lesson 1.4, other effective sampling methods. The book I'm using for these videos is going to be this one. It's going to be Michael Sullivan, 3rd edition. Statistics. If you have any questions on how to purchase this book or how to get the PDF version or even try to get it for free, leave a comment and I'll let you know. Okay, so let's head into it. The first thing we're going to go over is the vocabulary in section 1.4. Like I said, in all mathematics, vocabulary is very, 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 very important. Okay, especially in statistics. So the first vocabulary word that comes up in 1.4 is stratified sampling. So stratified sampling is going to be a type of random sampling that separates a population into non-overlapping groups. And usually we call these non-overlapping groups strata, okay? And then selects random individuals from each strata. And then individuals in each strata should be homogeneous, which means similar in some way. So that's a lot of words to take in. So let me give you an example. An example would be our population is the United States, adults in the United States, right? And we want to do a survey, whatever survey of adults in the United States. And we want to sit there and then divide those adults into certain groups, like age groups. So let's say from 18 to 25, and then 26 to 35, and so on and so forth. If we sit there and conduct a study like that, it's going to be considered a stratified sample that we're conducting that study on, right? So the next one is going to be a systematic sample. So this one is kind of tricky because it does have a little bit more math lingo in it. So our systematic sample is a type of random sampling that selects every kth element from a population. And I'll go over what that kth means in a second. And the kth number in mathematics, or the nth term, if you're applied math or pure math, you know what that means, is considered to represent any number in the sequence. So basically, an easier way to say this is the systematic sampling. That nth term is basically if you have a sample size that you don't know the range of that size. You don't know if it's going to be 1 to 200 people. You don't know if it's going to be 1 to 500 people. It can go on and on and on and on, right? So that's why we consider that kth or nth term. We don't know when it's going to end, okay? And so that's that kind of sampling. And here's the steps for it that they gave in the book. And I'll define each of these variables right here. So that big N is going to equal our whole population size. I'll just put population. Okay. Sorry, it's going to take a second because my pen. Population. All right, and that little n right here, this variable, that's going to sit there and equal the ending term. That's going to sit there, and if we know the end of our population, but in this case, we kind of don't. But in the example in the book, they do sit there and give you an end population end. All right, and so how we compute this is if we do have an n, because if we didn't have an n and that was 0, it would be we can't have n equal 0. You would sit there and divide our big N by our little n, and that's how you would get our k, basically how many people are in our sample group, right? Again, later on in the book, this will sit there and give more definition to it, and of course, there's going to be more math behind it, but don't worry about it now. The kind of sampling that's used for statistic sampling is, like I said, when you don't know your population size. Okay. And let's look at the next one. This one's going to be cluster sample. So it's a type of random sampling where the population is divided into groups and the individuals are randomly selected. So the best example I came up with is like a mall parking lot. Say you have like A through D levels on your mall parking lot, and there's lots of cars that come in and out of the parking lot, lots of different types and makes and models of the car. And that's all you have to work with. So if you wanted to sit there and do some kind of statistic research on these cars, you're going to raise a lot of questions, right? So the questions that might be raised are like, how do I pick out who goes into which group? Like, how do I even group these cars that are going to the small parking lot? Like, do I group them by make and model or the color of the car or where they park? So cluster sampling can raise a lot of questions. That's why it's not used as much. But basically, it's just like a basic thing like mall parking lot. And you have to figure out how to group your sample size and how to categorize how you're going to sit there and make the individuals in your sample size. Okay. So this one's like, it's not the best, but it's like kind of up in the air. And then our next one we have is convenience sample. So this is a type of random sampling where the population is divided into groups where individuals are easily obtained and not based on randomness. Okay, so the example I use for this one, which is really good, is basically individuals who are, when you're doing a research and you're like, hey, the best way to get my individuals are ask my group of friends to fill out the survey, or nearby locations. It makes it more convenient for the researcher to sit there and do their research, okay? Or sending emails to known addresses. So this is considered a convenient sample, okay? And yeah, that's why it's called convenient sample, is because it's more convenient for the researcher to sit there and pick out their sample that they want to conduct research on for the population, right? So those were a couple of the definitions that go through for 1.4. The examples in the book, they are there if you want to sit there and hear me read through some of the examples, because they do have the answers and the definitions to them. Just let me know and leave a comment. And if you have any homework questions or would like further math tutoring, please subscribe or leave a message in the comments. In my next video, I'm going to be doing some examples from 1.4. Thank you, guys.